Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing, Inc.
A fired minister returns to the Trinidad cabinet and a senator is replaced. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Thursday, June 29th. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has made some changes to his cabinet, including bringing back a minister he fired last year and replacing a senator. He announced the changes at a post-cabinet press briefing as his People's National Movement nears its 2-year mark in office. The changes that took effect on Thursday see Fitzgerald Hines reassigned from the Ministry of Public Utilities to become minister in the Ministry of the Attorney General and Legal Affairs. Marlene MacDonald, who was relieved of the housing portfolio in March 2016, makes a return to the cabinet as the new Minister of Public Utilities with responsibility for the business of the government. Prime Minister Keith Rowley also announced that Ayanna Liba-Lewis Senate appointment has been revoked. Alison West will be appointed senator in her place, as well as minister in the Ministry of Finance. Nicole Oliveira has been appointed parliamentary secretary in the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries. Rowley has defended his government against charges that the administration is incompetent.
It is the competence of this government functioning as is expected by those who elected us, which has allowed us to be where we are today and not in a far worse position. So just think about that when you judge this government's competence. As a matter of fact, as I speak to you now, we are comfortable with respect to the work that we've done in the last year in the energy sector, the only sector that has the ability in the medium term, not to mention the short term or the immediate, to give us any prospect of any way out of our current circumstances.
Caribbean countries are being harshly criticized for letting millions of dollars of development funding go unused. Dr. Patrick Gomes, Secretary General of the African, Caribbean and Pacific Group, the ACP, says that body has sought out assistance on behalf of the region in several areas, including agriculture, climate change, public health, public finances, science and research, migration policy and trade. But he said the Caribbean just isn't using the funding available. He cited Barbados' tourism industry and the High Caribbean Agriculture Food Bill as areas where the fund could help. Meantime, Gomes expressed concern that the Caribbean is also not showing the urgency it needs to as the Cotonou Agreement nears an end. The comprehensive partnership agreement signed between the European Union and the region comes to an end in 2020.
The Caribbean, in my view, we can leave it on, because I'm quoting Vice President Greenidge, has not shown the urgency it needs to in preparing for post-Cotonou, and it has to. It therefore has to critically assess what it has made of the access that has come by the relationship with Europe, through grants, through trade, duty-free, quota-free trade, and also access to the institutions.
Dr. Gomes said when the ministers of the ACP group meet later this year, they will begin to review the investment facility under the agreement, but there are concerns about the structure of that facility.
We now have an investment facility under Cotonou, which allows, though the ceiling is too high for small and medium enterprise, which we want to put emphasis on. because it requires 5 million. But bigger companies have been benefiting from that. So a lot of thinking and preparation of work is going forward.
When CARICOM leaders meet in Grenada next week for their annual summit, trade relations between the 15-member grouping and the United Kingdom after Brexit will most likely dominate the talks. Grenada's acting Foreign Affairs Minister Nicholas Steele says how the region interacts with a UK that is not part of the EU is very important, and CARICOM needs a united approach. British Prime Minister Theresa May has started the process of pulling Britain out of the EU single market, and Steele told reporters there are many treaties with the EU that will have to be renegotiated for CARICOM member states. Next week's summit is expected to be attended by at least 13 CARICOM leaders. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Grenada, Alva Brown, said there will be representation from China and the World Bank, and there'll also be a special surprise guest whose identity is being kept under wraps for now due to security reasons. The CARICOM Secretariat said the leaders are also expected to deliberate on outstanding matters related to the implementation of the CARICOM single market and economy, following the comprehensive review of the CSME's performance presented to them at the last intersessional meeting in February. The work on the commissions on reparations and marijuana is also expected to come under the spotlight. And the political situation in Venezuela, where opposition protesters have been taken to the streets demanding the removal of President Nicolas Maduro, will also be a point of discussion. In Bermuda, former Premier Paula Cox has resigned from the opposition Progressive Labour Party, PLP, to run as an independent candidate in next month's general election. Cox, who has been a PLP candidate, parliamentarian, minister and leader, said she was compelled to cancel her membership of the party on a point of principle. We get more from Tarai Trott of the Bermuda Broadcasting News, who says Cox has written to the party chairman informing of her decision.
In a letter sent to party chairwoman Dawn Simmons and seen by Gary Moreno, Paula Cox makes clear she has decided to run as an independent candidate in the July 18th general election. Speculation that she could quit the party was fueled after the party leadership overruled the decision of the PLP branch officials in Devonshire Northwest to have her run again for the party. Party higher-ups instead chose former PLP Senator Wayne Keynes as their choice. In her resignation letter, she says to continue to retain membership given her stated intentions to run as an independent would not be appropriate. She says, quote, "It is with a heavy heart that I do this, but I am compelled to cancel my membership on a point of principle." This, she further states, given the recent events and circumstances that constituted a miscarriage of justice by the violation of the party's processes, protocols, and constitutional integrity regarding constituency 14 candidate selection and the proper consultation with the constituency branch. She goes on to write, "You are aware that my candidacy was also supported by polling data indicating a high favorability rating for me to win." Thanking the party for providing her with a platform to serve the people of Bermuda, Ms. Cox signs off stating much work remains to be done to advance the people's interests, and hopefully this will continue. Contacted by Bermuda Broadcasting News over our information that she had resigned, Ms. Cox would only make reference to nomination day on the 4th of July, which is the day all candidates have to formally submit their name to appear on ballots.
Well, the PLP says the decision by Cox is disappointing, but clearly she feels it necessary to follow her dreams and take this stance. The party thanked her for her decades of service in numerous capacities and wished her well going forward. Some sad news in the Bahamas. Former Minister of National Security Dr. Bernard Nottage has died at the age of 71. His family confirmed that the gravely ill Nottage passed away at the Cleveland Clinic in Florida on Wednesday evening. He'd been airlifted there last Thursday. Dr. Nottage had suffered from prostate cancer and kidney failure, among other ailments. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis said he was saddened by his passing. He described Dr. Nottage as an outstanding medical doctor and political leader, but first and foremost, a Bahamian patriot and native son who at his core was deeply committed to the development of the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Apart from his political life, Dr. Nottage was also a former track and field star who'd represented the Bahamas on the world stage. Coming up in Caribbean Newsline, a controversial anti-crime bill passed in Jamaica's lower house. That story and more when we return. Stay with us.
beautiful Barbados. And 4D Entertainment welcome you to the Flow Soca on the Hill, Sunday, July 23rd, 2017, where the mega stars of Crop Over 2017 assemble with the Caribbean's best. Patrice, Skinny Fabulous, Ricky T, Orlando Octave, and Ultimate Rejects to bring you the world's greatest soca party, the Flow Soca on the Hill. Let's gather the people.
Welcome to SwiftPack, your online shopping and shipping solution. Receive the best rates, expert cargo management, and exceptional customer service. SwiftPack provides secure handling of your smallest packages to your largest cargo with speed and reliability. We invite you to use our US mailbox service, online shopping, ship air and ocean cargo from the supplier to your door. We handle it all for you. Get started now. Sign up for a free regular account or premium account, or give us a call on 440-6100. SwiftPack. You shop, we ship, you save.
We continue in Jamaica, where the House of Representatives on Wednesday passed the controversial Special Zones of Operations Bill. The legislation will, among other things, allow the Prime Minister to declare a volatile area a zone for special operations and give the security forces the power to search places, vehicles, or people within specific areas without a warrant. The bill has been a source of controversy between the government and the main opposition People's National Party, the PNP. The PNP's spokesman on national security, Peter Bunting, has criticized the government for what he considers undue haste to pass the proposed legislation. In addition to giving the Prime Minister the power to declare special zones of operation, the bill will also provide the security forces with powers to search places, vehicles, or people without a warrant. The bill will be debated by members of Senate at the next sitting of the Upper House on July 6. A former police prosecutor in Trinidad and Tobago has been jailed for 17 years with hard labor after being found guilty of raping a teenager who'd gone to the police station to make a domestic violence report 16 years ago. Jurors took 90 minutes to find Harry Ramlochan, who was 50 years old at the time of the crime, guilty of the offense after a month-long trial. Justice Althea Alexis Windsor said on Wednesday that aggravating factors in the case against Ramlochan were that the accused was a person of trust and there was a level of vulnerability. The judge said she considered the convict's age and the child's age at the time of the attack and the fact that it was the girl's first sexual encounter. Mexico will be helping Guyana tackle the issue of migration, and the CARICOM country is hoping its plan and policies to tackle the issue can be implemented to effectively cope with its problem of brain drain.
Every effort that can be made to bring the immigrant communities, the overseas citizens, one step closer to home is a worldwide effort.
Mexican Ambassador to Guyana, Ivan Roberto Sierra Medel. Meanwhile, Vice-Chancellor of the University of Guyana, Professor Ivelaw Lloyd Griffith, opined that one of the most recent evident aspects of the strong partnership between the two countries is Mexico sponsoring a knowledgeable professional to participate in talks held at UG's campuses based on oil in Guyana.
The experiences of the Mexican reality in regards to its energy sector. You also may know or may not know that the ambassador himself was one of the strong advocates testifying before the University Council, among other places, as we move to establish a School of Entrepreneurship and Business Innovation.
Since the 70s, the brain drain and its effect on every aspect of society have been interest to Guyana's growth as a nation. And presently, many highly educated persons are still migrating. It is hoped that the international partnerships formed between Guyana and other countries can tackle the migration problem.
Following legislative elections that took place in France, deputies elected in the French West Indies have gone to Paris to take office. And in this special report, our partners at France Carib Broadcast followed the footsteps of the youngest French deputy. The 25-year-old was elected in French Guyana.
Léanique Adam grew up in Saint-Laurent-du-Maroni on the family property. It's there, close to the forest, that he likes to recharge and that he draws the energy necessary for his political commitment. I really enjoy it here, my childhood. It was a place where my parents were farming, where we met the quack together with my parents, my uncles, my aunts, and I had extraordinary moments in this place. We here have been taught that agriculture, planting to feed a country is necessary. And I said to myself that something had to be done for the country, to concentrate and then to become someone. Elected on the presidential majority level with 50 and 22% of the votes on June 18, it's with a sure and determined step that the first Bushinengue deputy in the history of Guyana, named after the direct descendants of African slaves escaped from the former Dutch Guyana in the 18th century, crossed for the first time the highlights of the Palais Bourbon, the seat of the French National Assembly. It's still impressive, but it's also an honor to be able to access all this. And now we must work for French Guyana. Even before entering the Palais Bourbon, the MP knows his files well, and especially he is well aware that all his actions will be carefully observed. We have a lot of expectations. The population is watching us. Health is one of the priorities, of course, but the protection of Guyana is also, because there is a lot of insecurity in our country. There is also education. Everything is a priority in Guyana. A delay which he counts on catching up with the presidential majority because rumors have been going on about the creation of an overseas group in the Assembly. To join this project has never been his objective, but it doesn't exclude the partnership with the other elected representatives. We are in a majority that I wanted broad. I dare believe that simply the elected offices that I am will have this space to defend the interests of his constituency, but to develop another strategy, which is to bring together all the elected ones who have the same concerns and the same regional particularities in order to act.
And ahead in Newsline Sport, West Indies women suffer a second straight defeat in the ICC Cricket World Cup.
Ravenel's Resort and Conference Center is the mecca of conferences in the island of Tobago. The state-of-the-art facility caters to executive forums, weddings, banquets, training, elegant dining, and tranquil accommodations. Guests at Ravenel's Resort can choose from self-catering, standard, deluxe, and executive rooms. Sit at the poolside and savor the ambience of nature, or enjoy a sumptuous meal on the terrace and inside the Bouvardia restaurant. Let's go to Ravenel's Resort and Conference Center, the tranquil Caribbean Resort. Call 868-639-9666 or visit our website at www.rovenelsresorttobago.com.
Ready.
It's another episode when we out on the road. This is what we love to celebrate, to celebrate. This is not Hollywood. No, we don't come out the road. Drink, drink, drink. King Baba and Nikita. Every fact that I go, you keep on calling me wrong name. But that's okay, cause that's my bitch. I don't understand how we're in a name tag on me. You know what to say, you still calling me wrong. Don't get vexed with me. Don't say that.
In a place where legends start, the beach is just the beginning. So live a little for the exhilaration and the color of every moment, where time is and life is a spirited event. Immerse yourself in the culture, the music, the people, the island. Love Antigua and Barbuda. Embrace an experience that leaves you breathless, from cricket to sailing week to carnival and more. Antigua and Barbuda, the beach is just the beginning.
Stephanie Taylor's wish of a Windies victory in her 100th appearance in one-day cricket did not materialize as India romped to victory by 7 wickets in their ICC Women's World Cup encounter on Thursday. Sent into bat, the Caribbean side struggled as wickets tumbled in quick succession. At one point, they were on 146 for 8 before Afi Fletcher and Chanel Daly brought back some respectability to the total to push the West Indies to 183 for 8 in the allotted 50 overs. Both Fletcher and Daly remained unbeaten on 33 and 36 runs respectively. Opening batsman Hayley Matthews was the top scorer with 43. Taking 2 wickets each were right-arm spinners Deepti Sharma and Harampreet Kaur and a leg spinner Poonan Yadav. Here are the highlights.
A shot from Matthews. They've got to push. They've got to run. Nice from Matthews. A long half volley, and she shows her offside prowess now. Finger goes up, and first ball strike for the left-arm spinner. Field, will it cost the boundary? Yes, it does. Goodness gracious, that was audacious.
Gone. Gonna have to be swift at the non-striker's end. She's gone. Oh, communication breakdown yet again.
Oh, that could be gone. That could be gone. A little bit of turn. She bowled such a wonderful length, Poonam.
Well, that's up in the air and should be caught. It is. Up in the air and another wicket falls. Well, that's drilled. A bit of width again and that's beaten. That's a great shot. Drop short and that's pierced the gap. And she's gone. Great foot movement there. She found the gap.
It's a good strike.
And frustration here because they just had the momentum.
It's a nice strike. Good shot. Just short of the boundary. This has been a good hand by Fletcher. In the gap again. And 4. 3 fours of the last over, 18 runs in total. And so the West Indies have something to work with.
In reply, a century from Smriti Mandhana took India across the line with 45 balls to spare. She scored 106 from 108 balls, while Mithali Raj chipped in with 46. Barbadian fast bowler Shamila Connell, along with spinners Stephanie Taylor and Hayley Matthews, picked up 1 wicket each.
Catch, caught, off the glove and gone. Oh, an edge, and it's going to be 4. Oh, it's beautifully connected, over the head and 6. Shouts of catch just beyond gully. Oh, and she's got the breakthrough. Overseas pro back in the 70s and 80s. That's beautifully played by Mandhana. She's found the gap.
Nice, in the gap. In the gap, it was perilously close to, I think it's Taylor.
In the air, and just evades the fielder. An extra diving to her left. But it will bring up the 50 for Smriti Mandhana. Well, that's gone in the air and just over the fielder at fine leg. Full punished. Another boundary.
Out. That'll be 4. Picked up, nicely picked up for 4.
And that's neatly played. It's going to be 4. It's a beautiful shot, and it's a wonderful way to bring up the first century in World Cups for Smriti Mandhana, and how beautifully she's played. And it exacerbates the nature of that innings. And that should be it, and is it. Thickish outside edge runs away to third man, and how apt it is that Smriti Mandana should hit the winning runs for her country.
The Windies women will now take on another tough team, South Africa, on July 2nd. Well, after the match, Windies captain Stephanie Taylor admitted that a lot of work is needed in the West Indies batting department.
Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed. I thought we got, a good platform. Just didn't build on that in the end. It's the second time, so we definitely need to do some work where that is concerned.
And the Indian women's captain, who had the second best knock of 46, praised the efforts of her spinners and opening batsman Mandana.
Very pleased with the way the girls have responded to today's conditions, winning the toss, putting them in, and there were crucial runouts. And though there were a bit of lapses in the fielding, but I think the spinners have done really well in the middle overs to curtail. And a good 100 from Smriti was very, very much needed because we lost 2 early wickets, and that partnership was very important to get us going.
There's a new man at the helm of the Jamaica Olympic Association, the JOA. Former JOA Secretary General and Attorney at Law Christopher Samuda was elected in what was a tight contest for the top job on Tuesday. He defeated Vishu Tolan 20 votes to 16 in the election at the JOA headquarters in Kingston. Samuda replaces Mike Fennell, who was at the helm for the last 40 years.
We thank the Honourable Mike Fennell for the years of service that he has given to the Olympic movement. Sterling, the quality of character that he displayed, the quality of leadership he displayed, and also the unwavering interest in the development of the Olympic movement, not only in Jamaica, regionally and internationally.
And the new Olympic boss reached out to those who didn't support his candidacy, calling on them to join him in taking the Olympic Association forward.
I want to thank also the members of the board, those who supported me, those who did not support me. I want to thank all of the member associations, those who supported and those who did not support. The movement is now unified. We will move towards our goals as a team, and we will ensure that the Olympic movement not only grows meteorically in Jamaica, but is an exemplar to other Olympic movements in the region and globally.
And that's the sport. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Grow your business or promote your event through the services offered by the Caribbean Media Corporation and CaribVision. Our distribution provides a platform on cable, terrestrial television, and websites. We cover carnivals and events from across the region. We can bring your event live and alive to the world. For music makers, program producers, businesses, we can expand your reach to in excess of 2 million households daily. Our other services include news updates to enhance your media products, studio space for program and development. We can facilitate the launch of new products and services and training. Contact us and we will help you unleash your creative ability, develop products and services, and provide the medium to watch them grow. Contact Loretta Skeet at cmccaribbean.com or call her 1-246-467-1044 or 1-246-253-3889. Call and book your carnival or event today.
In a place where legends start, the beach is just the beginning. So live a little for the exhilaration and the color of every moment, where time is and life is a spirited event. Immerse yourself in the culture, the music, the people, the island. Love Antigua and Barbuda. Embrace an experience that leaves you breathless, from cricket to sailing week to carnival and more. Antigua and Barbuda, the beach is just the beginning.
A recap of the major developments of this day: a fired minister returns to the Trinidad cabinet and a senator is replaced. And in sport, Windies women suffer a second straight defeat in the ICC Cricket World Cup. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sports round the clock, log on to canonnews.com. From all of us at CMC News, thank you and good night.